Good morning, Facebook. This is Marc Hamm, half of Team Hamm Group. We are having a seminar today, if you haven't heard, and we have a few people on the panel that are in their expertise in the real estate industry. First of all, I got to introduce the other half of Team Hamm, Shana. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your title, what you do at Team Hamm. You on the air.
Hi, everyone. My name is shana.hamm. As Mark said, I am the other half of Team Hamm Group. I am the realtor, so I pretty much spend my time working with clients and helping them find their dream home or their rental home or selling their home for a better home. We do it all, and we do commercial real estate as well.
All right, that is Shanahan. Next up, we have Miss Erica Moore. Erica Moore is in financial services. Erica, please introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, your name of your company, where you're located, and what you do.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Erica Moore. I am with Five Rings Financial, and I serve middle Americans. I help folks protect and grow money for their long-term needs and for the things that they want, like buying a home.
All right, and that is Erica Moore. Next up, we've got Kyle Hartford from Rocket Mortgage. Kyle, will you jump on the mic and tell them who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and where you're located?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So like Mark mentioned, my name is Kyle Hartford. I'm a President's Club banker here with Rocket Mortgage. Been with the organization for about 4.5 years now. Mainly focused on purchase, but do work on the refi side of the business as well. But mainly working with first-time home buyers, getting them qualified and pre-approved for buying new homes.
All right, thank you, Kyle. And last but not least, we have Rosie Rodriguez with First Option. She is bilingual and she's hanging out with her duck. Rosemary, jump on there and tell us who you are, what you do, how you do it, and where you're located.
Thank you very much. My name is Rosemary Rodriguez. I am a bilingual business development director with First Option Mortgage. Gives me the opportunity to be able to give the clients or realtors options on which lender they'd like to work with. Not everybody is a fit for everyone. So we have a team of about 5 lenders, and we have our underwriting team on staff as well. And yes, I have my duck.
Alrighty, and we won't show the duck right now. We'll show them later. Anyway, I'm Marc Hamm with Team Hamm Group. This is our 3rd year in business, but we actually started off the record prior to that with shadowing one of the realtors where we were, and I'll get into all of that later. But my role is more so transaction coordinator with Team Hamm Group and social media expert and a whole list of other stuff. I'll get into those hats that I wear. But today we're talking about, for Team Hamm Group, we're talking about being a first-time home buyer. And so we'll get into that and tell you all the tricks of the trade that you need when you are a first-time home buyer. And Erica, please unmute and let them know what you're talking about today.
So for me, it's a variety of things. One of which is why, from a financial perspective, it's a really good idea to purchase a home. And then some of the things that you should be considering as you're preparing for home purchase, as well as some of the things that you want to consider for protecting that home after you've purchased.
Alrighty, and then we have Kyle and Rosemary chiming in as well. All right, let's get started, y'all. Today is Saturday, and just want to shout out H&P. Y'all will see the H&P logo up in the corner. H&P is doing a weekend networking group, and we'll jump on that at 12 o'clock once this is over. But we have a few questions today that we're going to answer for first-time home buyership. And first off, we're going to ask Erica a question. And Kyle, would you please do the honors for us? I always put Kyle on the spot.
Absolutely. So Erica, what is your background and how did you get started in financial services?
So interestingly, my background is computers. I have a degree in computer science, and I worked in that field for a number of years. And how does that help me really transition into financial services? Well, they taught me to think really analytically. And when I'm working with clients, I approach it like a puzzle. You know, my clients want to get from where they are to where they want to be. And it's my job financially to help them figure out the best path to do that. And it uses all that analytical thinking that I learned in my computer career.
All right, sounds good, sounds good. Um, we really don't know a lot about Erica, let's just say. And we're gonna find out all about how she's gonna help people, in the financial industry. Erica, take a second and tell them how we met.
Yeah, so Mark and I met through Happy Neighborhood Project, which he talked about, which is an amazing online networking group. And Mark is one of the mentors in that organization. And so we met because I decided to become a co-host, which has been really a fun experience, leading the networking groups. And so Mark has been an integral part of helping me learn how to effectively lead the group. And so that's been great. I'm so glad to have met Mark.
Yep, it's been wonderful working with Erica. Wouldn't have it any other way. Rosemary, what you got for us?
Well, I actually want to know what are the steps in working with Erica? So
Okay,
if a client comes to you, for example, I host a lot of lunch and learns and direct meets with clients in the Hispanic community. Unfortunately, in our Hispanic community, there's not a lot of education around finances. And my mother-in-law, she's a pastor. So she'll have me come over to the church. She has about 5 churches, and I'll speak to every attendant there and help them figure out a plan so that they can purchase their house before they can go apply, because a lot of the times they don't have credit, or they have credit, they just don't know how to manage it. So the biggest question was, I need help with my finances. How do I manage my finances? They get paid a lot of cash, and with all that cash, they just put it in a box and let it sit there. And then if they get a deposit, they take it out and put it in a box. And they don't know, there's other things and other opportunities for them, regardless if they have their citizenship or not.
Yeah, so really good question. And interestingly, I teach a lot of workshops as well for the same reasons that you outlined. A lot of people are not maximizing what they could do with their money to grow it. And mostly they do that out of fear. If you don't know another way, you tend to lean on what you've learned. And we learn from our parents. And if they didn't have good money management skills, where do we get that? So like you, I teach a number of workshops. One of them is called Money 101. And that is a great way to connect with me initially and kind of get some foundational information. And then I meet with clients on a one-to-one basis, because we can talk in generalities in a workshop, but when it comes to a particular person or a family and their money, that is private and very personal. And there is no cookie cutter solution to how to get them from where they are to where they want to be. So I work with folks on an individual basis and I meet them where they are.
all right, thank you. Kyle, what you got for us?
Yeah, so going out to Mark and Shana, how did you guys get started in the real estate business?
Oh man, I got a story for you. We actually were on a date, and we went to Cracker Barrel, and the date was going well. And so, I was in the market to purchase a home at the time. So I asked Shanna, hey, after we eat these pancakes, do you want to go check out this house that I'm looking at? And so I took over to, I think it was in Lilburn, took over to see this house, and it was the house. As soon as you walk in, it had a 2-story foyer, and it was new construction. Had a blue office with all the books made into the wall, very nice. And then it had a restroom after that, and then a dining room, very nice dining room, opening up to the kitchen, eating kitchen, living room area, that open concept. And it just had a nice flow to it. And took her in there, and she's looking at it all decorated, nice and whatnot. And I could see her eyes kind of, light up. And I showed her the upstairs bedrooms were decorated. You had a boys' room, girls' room, and a nice master. And the only thing it didn't have that I wanted was a media room. And I was telling her maybe we could, I could move something around over here and make a media room. And I saw that she liked what I was selling. And so to impress her, I took her to another home in a gated community that was well out my budget. And it was a custom home in a gated community. And we found out that day that we had a common denominator, and that is that we love new construction. And we light up now when, you know, we get a client and they're like, hey, we want new construction. We're like, oh yeah, that's our thing. Shanna, I'll give you your take on it.
Yeah, like Mark said, we had a common denominator. We both loved looking at homes. It was something I would do with my mom on the weekend. I always go and look at new homes and, you know, just dream on what our dream home was going to be. So when me and Mark went out on a Sunday and we did, I said, oh my God, keep doing something. And everything I like, he liked too. So I knew, wow, if we ever get together, we gonna like the same thing. And, you know, and just being able to help people, you know, we were helping families at the time, showing them new properties and things and getting them into their homes. And it was something we enjoyed doing. And we light up every time we're able to just help. So that's when I knew then that, hey, we can do this because we both enjoy what we do.
Yep. And when we first got started, my parents were moving from New Jersey to North Carolina, and over a span of 5 years, they would go visit North Carolina and look for a home, and we would make it our business to meet them there and help them look. And that's kind of when I was like, you know, I think we might be doing this as a business. You know, we were there driving 6 hours away just to help somebody look for a house. Yes, it was my parents, but still, we loved it. And we found the house on one of those trips, and he live in it right now for the last 9 years. So kudos to them. Kyle, I gotta ask you, since you asked us, how'd you get started in business?
So it's actually a funny story. So prior to getting into real estate, I did car sales for about 3 to 4 years, and got introduced to, at the time, what was Quicken Loans through a client that I was actually selling a truck to. He was a previous client I had worked with before, had come back the following year and was like, hey, I want to get out of my car and into something different. And just through being really good with customer service, I connected with him really, really well. And one night we were texting back and forth. It had been a couple of days since I had spoken with him, and I was like, "Hey, like, what are we doing here? Are we gonna move this thing forward? And are you getting a new car?" And he had responded back and said, "That was a really good slot close. You do really well over with me at Quicken Loans." And I jokingly responded and said, "Hey, I'm always open to the opportunity." And 2 to 3 days later, I got a call from a recruiter here, and safe to say the rest is history.
Nice, very nice. And Kyle, now it all comes together. I saw Kyle's car. He sent me a picture of it. Now it makes sense. You're a car guy. Yep.
Big car guy.
Yep. Rosemary, how did you get started in business?
Well, my story is a little bit interesting, just like all everybody else's, I guess. Um, so I will have to go back to what I was doing before. I am a creator. I am more of an artist person. I am not a numbers person. I am a people person, and I originally started as a salsa bachata dancer, and then became a wedding planner for since 2016. Then COVID happened, and COVID told me, "You're gone." So it's gone, and my industry was pretty much nothing. And so during COVID, I just watched a lot of YouTube videos on real estate and investments and housings. And I'm like, well, this is interesting. I want to try to do this. So I ended up getting a job as an assistant for a broker, a commercial real estate broker. He teaches the Latinos how to get their real estate license through Florida and then reciprocate it to Georgia without having to retake a test, and they just pay a fee. Because the state of Georgia does not do Spanish tests. They only do English tests. And so Florida is the only one that does the Spanish. So he found a little loophole, and I helped him with his students, and then helped them convert from student after they graduated to agent. And then I helped do transaction coordinating. And then from there, I was like, I don't know if I really want to be a real estate agent at this moment, but I want to be the person with the money. How do I be that person with the money? And then so I reached out to a client of mine that I did their wedding. And I remembered he was a broker, and he was like, yeah, let's go, let's have lunch. And then we talked, and then he's like, well, this is how it works. And once you get your license, then you're free to go and do your own business. I was like, well, that seems easy. And then I started as a business development, and I've been doing business development since 3 years. So for me, getting clients and building business is easy for me. The hard part for me is passing the exam. I'm on my 7th exam, and I'm okay with it because everybody has different time frames on succeeding on specific things. So because I'm a creator and a more of an um, artistic background, um, numbers and testings is more like my weak point, unfortunately. But I'm proud to own it. So I do more instructing and educating and connecting, which is my strong points. And that's why I am here in the mortgage industry. Also, my mom didn't buy her house until I was about 9 years old. We are originally from New York, from Brooklyn, moved to Long Island to the suburbs. And then from there, that's when she bought her house. She never taught me anything about it. She never told me how to save money for it. She just always said, save money for the rainy day and or a next day. And when I turned 30, I was like, kind of want to buy my own house. And I started learning the whole process. And so now I'm really passionate about helping other people learn what it takes, how to get there, what is required. And I kind of help them create a plan. So once they speak to my loan officers, then and I find out that they're not approved, okay, my next question is, well, what do we have to do to get them approved? A lot of times there's loan originators, they're like, well, sorry, nope, you can't get approved, try again next year. And a lot of times clients don't like to hear that. I don't like to hear that. So I've made it a thing for me is that all my loan officers know, okay, let me give Rosie a plan because she's going to ask me a plan. And so that's where I started and how I'm going.
All right. Well, thanks, Rosemary, for sharing. Now we know from New York. All right, Erica, I got to know what kind of services do you focus on? What are the areas?
Yeah, financial services is broad, and I'll start by saying when I first started, I really thought I wanted to help people invest their money in the market, and I got securities license, and I did that for a while. And what I found was that a lot of folks, despite my best efforts, they lost money. And my heart is to serve really underserved communities. So that would be in financial services, that would be all of middle America, that would be women, that would be minority groups. And for the most part, these groups are not super financially savvy, and they were not in a position to lose money. And so I really rethought that, and I decided that I wanted to focus on safe ways to grow money. So I don't have any licenses that allow me to lose your money. So safe ways to both grow money and then also protect it, because what I have found is it's great and everybody loves to watch the money grow. That's the fun part, right? When you start to see the zeros adding up in your bank account and in your investment accounts, everybody gets excited about that. But most middle Americans are one disaster away from financial devastation. And so if we don't have the means in place to actually protect all the things that we're putting in place, it could be gone in an instant. And so I really focus on a holistic approach to growing money and then also protecting it. And so that's the area of financial services that I work in: safe ways to grow money, and then insurances and other ways that you protect it.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate you jumping in there and telling us all the details and nuts and bolts of it, because we kind of get scared sometimes when we hear financial services and we're like, oh, they talking about my money. I'm
Yes.
not going there. But you make it so, comfortable. It's
I
almost
try, Mark. I try.
it's like
And
that Eddie Murphy thing, make me feel so comfortable. Oh, that was Jamie Foxx.
I was like, no. But no, I do. And in the workshops, I don't know if y'all have ever been to financial workshops. I had before I was in this industry, and I always felt intimidated. It was always that guy in the very expensive suit in the front of the room, and I always felt like they were talking down to me. And so I'm very intentional in my workshops about making sure that I use language that everybody understands, and that the idea is that people walk away feeling more knowledgeable and empowered than when they walked in, so that they can actually take that information and use it and to make a difference in their lives.
Right. There you go. How?
Absolutely. So Mark and Sheena, for you guys, I know we work together quite a bit on a regular basis, but I mean, for you guys, what types of clients are you mainly looking to service? What's your area of specialty?
I'm gonna let Shannon take that one.
So our expertise is really working with clients that are first-time home buyers. We do get a lot of those because we like to educate. And we found that in this business, there are a lot of people out there that don't know the process. They don't know what they need to do. They just know they want a home. They want to be a homeowner. And so we definitely take that time to talk with them, let them know what the process is, let them know about their credit. You'll find that a lot of people don't have the right credit. They don't have credit history, or they have blemishes on their credit report. Some of them are not even aware of it until they try to apply for something and they're rejected. And then they come back and say, well, what do I do? Because I want a home. And so we walk them through the process. We try to connect them with lenders, like you guys, to help them. Because at this point, we want to make sure that they get educated and get all the resources and tools that they need, so that when they do go back out there and they're looking for a home, they get the home that they want. They're comfortable, they're educated, they're knowledgeable about what's out there. And so that's basically what we do for homeowners. And we also work with sellers, even buyers that may have bought a home before and it's been a while. So they want to know now, what's the market like out there now? What can I do? So we do research on the market, on the trends, the areas, know your areas you want to stay in, because you may want to resell your homes, or are you in that best area to do that? So we do a lot of educating for both sellers and buyers. We enjoy it, and we also work with commercial people that are starting their business. And I'll let Mark take that one because he talks a lot about LLCs with them and getting them started.
Yep. So we got a commercial client some years ago, and we take a deep dive into what their business is. So first of all, we'll do the research on what type of business, because when you go to look for a commercial space for a commercial client, the whole say strip mall or area has to approve that type of business to fit in that in that mall area. You can't just take any business and put it there. It might be some type of competition issues, or the anchor store doesn't complement the store coming in. And so we do the research on the front end, so we know exactly what they do, products, services, that sort of thing. And then we go to work and we look. I'm talking about on your off time, when you go into the post office running errands, you're looking, we're looking around at spaces, but we also, look on the internet through our databases as well. But we do a lot of research. And I remember one client in particular, we probably looked at over 100 different commercial properties to find two. And we got it down to two, and then they had a choice to pick between the two. And then we negotiated our butts off between the two, bouncing one off the other. But that's our thing. And so sometimes we'll get a residential client that also has a business. And so, we help them both ways. But we do love our first-time home buyers. They are, they're like our kids. We see them grow up and graduate college. That's what it feels like when they get their keys in their home. Kyle and Rosemary, how are you guys feeling about like her first-time home buyers?
Yeah, I would say for me, I mean, that's probably 70, 80% of the clients that I'm working with are folks who are either just considering buying or don't know where to start with buying and just have general questions and what they need to do and what the process looks like, kind of everything you guys covered, right? And so for me, very similar to Rosemary, I think I try and take an approach of people think we're trying to sell them something. I come from a place of trying to help folks understand what they need to do to get where they want to go, right? A lot of people don't know how much they need to have for down payment, closing costs, what their credit score needs to be. And so I try and educate folks as much as I can with what our guidelines are, what they need to do, how much they need to have, and credit wise, what stuff they might need to work on if they're not quite there yet. And so for first time homebuyers, I know the process a lot of times can be really kind of scary, right? Because you probably one of, if not the biggest purchase you're going to make in your lifetime, outside of cars and things like that. But for a lot of folks, it's a really big deal. And so it's just a matter of educating them and making sure they're prepared and know what to expect, not only at the beginning of the process, but throughout that process and kind of what the journey of homeownership looks like for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what I've encountered is we are all humans. We're scared of the unknown, right? We don't know what's there. We don't know how to start. We don't know, we don't know if you're going to give us the right information. We don't know if maybe you're going to tell us false information and we have to just rely on what you're saying. Um, Give me 1 second. I don't know if you guys hear my son mowing the lawn.
We don't hear it.
Okay, perfect. So in that sense, I think it's really important um, for the education process, but not only education, it's also about trust, right? A lot of the times, clients need to learn how to trust you before they're gonna listen to you. You can talk to them all you'd like, but if they're not listening and they're not understanding and taking action on that advice, then you're really not doing anything but wasting air. So I think building that relationship, one with realtors that connect with first home buyers, and then if they trust you, that's the first person that they trust is you, right? Um, and when they trust you, then they understand that your word is going to be as valued as gold. So they're going to say, okay, let's go ahead and do whatever Mark and Shan says. Let's go with these people because they know what they're talking about. And then after that, it's about following up. And a lot of the times, first time home buyers, they're very unorganized, and not because they're unorganized people, it's because they don't know, again, what is required. So a lot of times when I work with real estate agents, I give them a list of all the documents that their client is going to need to provide. And it's as simple as, hey, Shanna, can you please have your clients bring these lists of documents on your next meeting? When you sit with them and you meet with them, what's the best way for them to get connected with us so that we don't have any space in between? Um, they're going to say, oh, okay, well, I'll bring these documents, and then you have them fill out the application right away. Okay, now that you fill out the application, now we can look at your credit. What does your credit look like? With us at First Option Mortgage, we have the link where you can have the client fill out the application. We get an email immediately stating what their credit is within seconds. Then we can see, okay, we see their credit. We do a soft pull. We don't do a hard pull. Once we see their credit on a soft pull, then let me say the difference. The difference between a hard pull and a soft pull is a soft pull is your points are not going to be there's not going to be penalized on your credit, but a hard pull, it gets penalized on your credit, but for temporary. It's not going to be something that is going to be for a long term. And then once we look at your credit, then we'll be able to say, hey, Mark, Shanna, this is this client, so and so. At this moment, they might not qualify due to their credit, but let's go and see what their financials look like, so that we can try and get them started financially or set financially, so that this way we can move forward and see what their plan is. Maybe they need 3 months, maybe they need 6 months, maybe they need 2 years. So that's what I like to do with the first home buyers before talking. A lot of times they're like, what's the interest rate? What's the interest rate? You don't understand what the interest rate is because it doesn't matter right now. Because if I tell you what it is, you're just going to be lost and turned down. You turned off. We don't want to turn you off. We need to keep you going. You're hot. You're ready. So let's get you organized. Once we get you organized, we'll talk about the interest rate later. That's after you found your house. We don't need to worry about that right now. And so it's kind of just taking a first home buyer's mindset away from media and society's thought of numbers and put it into a plan. And once you have that plan, then go into action. So it's a little bit more complicated for first home buyers than they want to think, but it's not as hard when you have guidance.
Yep. Hey, Erica, what type of clients do you best serve?
So for me, I like to work with, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Middle Americans. I also have a heart for serving women. In fact, I host a ladies event every month called Wine, Women, and Wealth, where it's part networking, part financial education, and part girls' night in if we're doing it online, or girls' night out if we're doing it in person. And I often invite experts from different areas. I mean, I do what I do in financial services, but my clients are whole people. They want to buy homes. They want to protect their families with their estate planning. So I often invite experts that do things that I don't to come in and speak with my group, because they need to learn in all aspects of finance. So we make it fun. But I like the women's market. I think is super important. And I think about when I first got married. I've been married 26 years. My husband and I decided we wanted to work with a financial advisor, and so he found someone. Guy came over to the house, and I'm the one in our household that manages our finances. And yet this gentleman directed every question to my husband, despite the fact that my husband told him several times, you need to ask Erica, she's the one that handles things. He continued to direct the conversation to my husband. And right about the time where I was thinking, hey, I guess I'm not needed here, and I was about to get up and go upstairs, my husband stood up and escorted him to the door. But that's the experience I think that many women have when it comes to finances. 90% still of folks in financial services are men, and the industry is really catered to the needs of men and the way that men think. Women buy differently, they think about money differently, they protect their money differently. And so one of my key focuses is on financial services for women. And by the way, for the ladies out here, we need about 20% more in our investments in order to live comfortably in retirement. And the reason is we outlive our men. But yet, again, most financial services companies are geared to men. And so I'm a little bit different in that respect.
Wow. I'm learning a lot about the women versus the men when it comes to finances. We look at it completely different.
Very.
Yep. Kyle?
I agree with Erica, because a lot of times this is originally known as a man's world. And so
But it
us
wouldn't be
women,
nothing. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and
I'm sorry.
us women, where it's like, okay, we're getting into this world that's a man's world, and then a lot of men, a lot of them are giving us the pathway, right? The person that introduced me was a man, and he gave me my path and said, okay, you're good at this, you're good at people, you're good at talking and educating. I want to put you into this industry. And so now for me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I'm in it, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just a lot of men in this industry, in this real estate and finances. A lot of women though are in real estate, but a lot of men are in the money world.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm glad that you're making that change.
Mhm.
Mark and Shanna, I had a question for you guys. Being that you're working a lot with first-time home buyers, commercial real estate, and a lot of different avenues, right? What would you say for you guys is kind of the hardest part right now of real estate for you guys?
Shannon, you want to go first, or shall I?
I'll let you go first.
All right. I would say the hardest part for us is getting people on the same wavelength. Everybody's in a rush to get stuff going. They don't cross the T's and dot the I's. They want to be in the house, $600,000 house, and they got a 500 credit score, and maybe they got $3 saved, or everybody's got these big old dreams. And my role in Team Ham is to, man, bring you down to reality and tell you you need this, and that. You ain't got this. You ain't. I'm the real voice. I'm like the loving parent that gives it to you raw and real, to get them in shape. And sometimes they'll talk to Shanna, and Shanna be like, he yelled at me, or he scolded me because I didn't sign the document on time. I'm the tough parent, and I just want to see people happy and in their home, but it's a process. And so toughest part is just getting people organized and getting them where they should be. We get it all the time. We got probably a client or two now that wants a house that's probably let's say $3,000 a month in payments, and they got enough for 1,500. And we're like, I don't know how that's gonna work. You keep looking at these homes where you got to pay $3,000 a month, but you got finances for 1,500. But if you cleared your credit, you'd probably be approved for more. So it's tough on that end. What you say, Shanna?
But yeah, like Mark said, for me, it's really keeping them motivated. When they realize they can't get something that they really want, how do you get clients motivated? How do you find clients to stay motivated? I'm one of, I guess I would be the mom in there. I have the emotional driven, where I'm just, I want to help. I want to get them there, and just trying to be strong for them, letting them know what's for you is for you. There is a home out there, but we have to have patience. And a lot of times people, they don't understand the patience involved. They see the house, they want it, and then they don't get it. And then they're not motivated anymore. They're down. So just trying to keep them lifted up, to let them know that it's out there. We just have to keep looking, and we'll find it, and just following up with them, because sometimes we don't hear from them anymore, and we're wondering what happened. And I don't think I want to do this. And yes, you do. Go back to your drive when you first started. How do we get you back there? And let's keep it going. We're here with you. We want to get there. And so the hardest part was just keeping them motivated.
And I got to give y'all an example. We had a client buying a house, and he had a couple kids and married, and we found him a house in Loganville. And we get to the closing table, and it didn't close. And so, we went outside and we encouraged them, hang in there. We were to come back tomorrow to see if they can get, things together and get it straight. So on that day that we were supposed to close, it didn't close. So as soon as we left, me and Shannon are in the car, and they don't have their keys, and we ain't got no closing papers. And I look at Shannon, and she's like sad and like in a mood. And I'm like, what's wrong? I just wanted them to get their house. And she was completely upset. So we're not transactional people, like we care. And Shannon took it to heart. Like the whole evening was jacked up at our house because she was sad. And, it was like, we did all we could do, but we just couldn't get them to close. And just to fast forward the end of the story, they did get to close. We gave up a commission so that they'd have enough money to close, and they're in the house right now. Yep. So we care. There's one of the renters calling us now. Anyway, we'll call her back. Erica, so we got a few more questions for you as well. Let's see. What is the hardest part about what you do, Erica?
Yeah, I love that question. Like you, I care so much about what happens with my clients. And I think the hardest part is when I can see solutions to their situation and they don't act. That is frustrating for me to watch it happen. And I'm thinking of a couple of really good examples. One on the positive side, I have a client who she's single, doesn't have children, and she came to one of my Wine Women in Wealth events. That's how I met her some years ago. And so she wanted some financial consultation. So we sat down, we looked at her situation, and her budget was really tight. And I talked to her about a protection called living benefits. And really what it does is it allows you to accelerate the death benefit of a life insurance policy if you become seriously ill. So in the beginning, she thought, oh, I don't need life insurance. I'm single. I don't have kids. She did own a house, and this is super important. And so once she understood it, she decided to take a $250,000 policy. Well, fast forward 4 years later, Andrea got seriously ill. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And I remember sitting at my desk when I got the call, and I prayed with her first, and then I helped her to submit a claim, a living benefits claim. And on that $250,000 policy that she had been paying less than $20 a month for 4 years, so less than $1,000, the check she received was for over $212,000. And so what that meant for her was she could focus on her healing and not worry about how the mortgage was going to get paid. She was able to actually take some of that money and put it away. That was a situation where somebody paid attention and actually acted on the advice that I gave them. Conversely, I have actually a family member. We had talked about doing something like that for him and his family. He is a highly compensated employee. And so we were looking at doing about a $2 million policy for him. Well, he was going to do it, just never got around to it. I remember him being here. I live in the DC area. He came in town for Howard's homecoming. We had a great time. And about 3 weeks later, he was on business travel in Arizona. He's an avid outdoorsman, went for a hike. Came back from the hike, called for an Uber, and in between the time that he made that call or ordered the Uber and the time the Uber got there, he passed out. What he didn't realize was with all that heat and lack of humidity, he was severely dehydrated after his hike. He passed out, hit his head on a rock, and suffered a traumatic brain injury. Now, he didn't have the living benefits policy. So instead of delivering a check, in his case, probably would have been about 1.2 or 1.3 million, I was contributing to a GoFundMe. That hurt. And for me, those are the things that are challenging. Those are the most difficult things for me, is to see easy solutions that people don't act on.
Wow, that's crazy. And that can happen to anybody.
Anybody. And it doesn't just have to be an injury. It could be an illness like Andrea had, heart attack, stroke, cancer. I mean, those things are happening to people at much younger ages than what we used to see. And what typically happens, particularly in my market, middle Americans, if they have an emergency fund, they blow through that. If they, and once that's gone, the place that most middle Americans have a chunk of money is going to be in their retirement account. So imagine being like 45 years old, having some serious illness, and then coming back from that 4 or 5 years later with nothing. And in many cases, they lose everything because there's no money there to pay the mortgage. They're not working, all that stuff. And so simple solutions can, be in place. That's the protection side of what I do.
Yeah, that's very necessary. What you got for us, Kyle?
Yeah, so for me, I think with us, we're the biggest lender in the country as of right now. So we had a lot of great resources, not only for first-time home buyers, but people in general just looking to purchase, no matter really where you are in the process. If you have any sort of dealings with Rocket, you'll probably get pretty familiar with what's called our platform. And so with that, it starts as early as, if you're not pre-approved yet, we have our program called Rocket Rewards, where basically for first-time homebuyers, you can go in and read different articles, watch different videos, and do different things to kind of get yourself familiarized more so with the process. And on top of that, earn rewards for it that you can bank towards closing costs to help bring your out-of-pocket down. Aside from that, similar to what Rosemary mentioned, we work a lot of times with first-time homebuyers who might have some credit challenges, working with folks who have scores as low as 560, right, to try and get them to a place where they can qualify for purchasing their first home and kind of guiding them along the way. And I think for folks that are right in the process of buying, the biggest benefit we have right now is our verified approval letters, where we basically will collect all their documents up front, and it'll basically go through a full initial underwrite. And so not only do we know, but clients know, hey, I'm 100% good to go with my approval. I'm not going to have any issues. Nothing's going to come up, and I'm going to get to close on this home. And I think from them, it gets them a lot more excited, right? Because they've already done all the kind of, per se, hard work up front. And they basically know, hey, once I find a home, I'm going to close on this home. I'm not going to have issues. So that's just to name a few, but there's a lot of big things, especially upcoming, I can't talk about yet, but are coming that are great things.
Nice. Rosemarie, what's your greatest asset in working in your business?
So I want to say that I've had several issues where clients either ran into a situation similar to where they might have not been able to close the day of closing. It has never been any of our issues. It's either been an issue with a client where we tell them at the day of closing, make sure you bring this much money so that you can pay off that card with the attorney, and don't pay it off beforehand, because then we're going to need proof that you've paid it off. And then a lot of times they don't understand why or what that means. But the biggest asset I want to say is most of our loan officers will call the seller's agent and let them know that they are vetted for and that they are good to go. A lot of the times the seller's agent will go off of what the buyer's agent says and a piece of paper, but they still have that little piece of questioning of like, is this really going to work? Are we going to get to the table and we're sitting there like, so is everything going good? So what we do is we call the seller's agent right away and let them know, hey, so-and-so is good to go. We just want to let you know, we have all of their documents. There shouldn't be any issues, but here's my number if you want to contact me right away, or I can show up at the day of closing so I can answer any questions that you may have in pertaining to the client's loan.
Well, we want to also thank you, Rosemarie, for jumping on and giving your input today. You are definitely a light shining, and we wish you the best. And we thank you for always being there and being our bilingual go-to person, and also working with these clients with their credit issues, because you understand how important it is. I know you got to run, so everybody just say and wave to Rosemarie. She's got to run, but we'll catch you later. And thanks for hanging out with us, Rosemarie.
Thank you, guys. Erica, and we also do mortgages in DC also. So if you know anybody that you want to connect with, let us know, and then we can help you, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye,
Yep.
Kyle. It was nice meeting you.
We're going to tackle the
Bye.
same question for Team Ham. What is our greatest asset? I would say our passion. When we are helping a client, we go to the tilt like it's for us. When we walk in the house, we open up the cabinets, we looking underneath, we going up in the crawl space. We're doing like a home inspection when we're going to look for a house, and then we fight for our clients. Tooth and nail for every penny. We had one recently where the home, I don't want to say the price, but I'll just make a fictitious price. The house was listed, say, at 120. And, we put an offer in and it got accepted. And they had raised the price $1,000, like to 121,000, right? And they snuck that in between, writing it up. And we went berserk. We talked to the listing agent. We talked to his boss, everybody. We went berserk, and they had to bring that price down. And so we ended up doing an amendment to the contract and got them 900 of the $1,000 back in their pocket. Couldn't get the total 1,000, but we went berserk. We wasn't having it. And they were like, hey, that's inflation, no, we not accepting that at all. We wouldn't want it for us, and we don't want it for our clients. So passion, really caring, really going after it, going hard is our plus. What about you, Erica? What's your your greatest asset?
Well, I actually concur with all the things that you just said about passion. I care deeply about my clients, but I will say for me, it's also my network. I am a connector, and my clients need things that I don't offer. And Happy Neighborhood has been a big asset there. When I am out and I'm meeting new people, I am always thinking about how they might be of benefit to the people that I serve. So I'm always looking for great people who are going to take care of my clients the way that I do in those areas that I don't serve. And so I think my network is also one of my biggest assets.
Nice. Kyle, what's your greatest asset?
Greatest asset for me, I would say, is just that I'm available. I think for a lot of folks, even on the weekends, they kind of shut down and like to disconnect. And for me, if I'm not sleeping, I'm pretty much available and ready to go. I know you and I've even run into that a few times, Sunday nights, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think it's just being available for our clients, right? And kind of to piggyback off of what you guys said, it's just being there to care, right? Like I said before, this is probably one of, if not the biggest purchases they're going to make in their lifetime. And so making sure you're available to answer their questions that might come up at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, or a concern they might have on a Sunday night that they're not gonna be able to sleep if they don't get an answer. It's just making sure you're available, kind of holding their hand through the process and making sure they know what's happening the entire way, and just showing that you do care, and just being there for them. I think that's the biggest thing, right?
You know, Kyle, I'm gonna give you that credit because we were in Florida on a little vacation, little work, and we got a call. We were out to dinner at this nice restaurant, and the client needed something, from lender. So we called Kyle, and it was on a Saturday or Sunday or something like that. And Kyle took out time, listened to us, reached out to the client, and made it happen. And I was like, see, that's why Kyle is my guy, man. Called him this past week, on a Sunday, it was Sunday, and he was at the Detroit Lions game. And he was like, yep, I'll handle that. I'll take care of that as soon as I get back in. He ended up reaching out to the client on Monday and got it going. But it's his, like he says, being available is really half the battle. Clients don't have time to wait, or they don't have the patience to wait. And sometimes you got to jump on it. Like when we're out looking with a client on a Saturday, if you find a house that that they like, you got to put that offer in right away. So we drop what we're doing and run, and Shanna gets in there on the computer and gets that offer written up. I think the other day I was like, at lunchtime, we're supposed to be eating lunch. I'm hungry, and normally Shanna throws the lunch together. I was like, you better get that contract done. We can eat later. So it's about being timely. And we appreciate you, Kyle, always being available. Shanna, you got to answer this question. What's our greatest asset, or worst asset for that matter?
Well, I think we differ in the worst assets, and mine would just be just feeling like I'm not doing enough. At times where I know you can't help everybody. Some people, that's not your call to help everybody, and I just want to help everybody. And also getting too emotionally attached. And I know Mark has to always bring me back and say, it's still a business. You still gotta be a business. And I'm on there when the client is talking, and I'm taking in everything they're saying, and I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling sad, and I'm up at night, and I'm stressed because I'm looking to find them a place. I'm looking to get them a home. I'm emailing them. I'm texting them. It's the whole thing. And I have to kind of remind myself, you still got to be strong, and you still got to do what you can. What you're doing is I'm giving them resources. Can't be the one to physically take them to the next level, but I can show them how to get there. And then I have to keep going. And I can't always hold their hand. And so that's what I'm having to learn throughout this business. And my partner over here pretty much brings me back to reality a lot. So.
That's my job.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap up soon, but Erica and Kyle, want to know from you guys, what is the perfect client that you're talking to right now? Like who are you looking for? If you could pick the perfect client to help and do something for, what do they look like? And what details are you giving them right now? Break it down specifically, like paint a picture for us with that perfect client. You're going to do this, this, and this. What does that look like? And Erica, you start us off, and then Kyle, you're up next.
So for me, the perfect client is somebody who is motivated to improve their financial situation, whatever that is. And sometimes they're in a really good financial position, but they want it to be better. And the key is motivated, because they have to take some actions. I mean, I can give advice and I can lay out the path, but it is really up to them to take the steps that are going to be necessary. And really the way I do it is I first meet with them, because I got to get to know who they are. So generally my first meeting with someone is really just getting to know them. Who are you? What's important to you? Because it's not for me to tell them what to do with their money, but for them to tell me what their goals and objectives are. And then for me to see if I have ideas that can help them get there better, faster, safer, all of those things. And so I start with just getting to know the person and what's important. I was talking to a young lady yesterday, and she was talking about her debt situation. And I mean, and she's in a tough financial situation. She'd lost her job and things like that. That put her in a really tight spot. And so she has some collection agencies after her, all of that kind of stuff. And so, my first question is, are you the kind of person who sees your debt as something you committed to, you're obligated to, and you want to make sure that you are able to pay back the people that you owe? Or are you looking to find a path out of the situation as quickly and cheaply as possible? And it's not for me to judge one way or the other what is important to them, but for me to understand that and then help them get there in that way. And so, I don't necessarily always want to have folks that are, kind of under a rock financially, uh, but I'm willing to give them some of my time if they will actually take the advice. And I've learned how to kind of gauge that. I'll give you something to do, and either you'll do it or you won't. And if you'll do it, then I can help you. If you won't, I can't help you. Doesn't matter, what the advice is. So ideally, I want folks that are motivated, that are going to take the advice I give them and act on it. And then I really want folks who have a desire to create wealth within their own families and also to share it with the community. Because I believe that money in the hands of good people, they'll do good things with it. And it will impact not just their own families, but our community, our country, our world. And so I want good people that are actually going to do good things with the money that the wealth they're able to generate as a result of working with me. So if you know good folks that are motivated to improve their own financial situation, they'll improve it for themselves and their community and beyond. So
I'm going to jump in before Kyle says his perfect client and how he's going to help them. Erica, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this seminar with you is for my grandson. Our grandson, I want to teach him financially about home ownership and saving for the future. And so every attempt I get, I'm recording a video, and he's 1 year old, he'll watch it later, but I want to teach him all the things that it took me a lifetime to learn. And so I thank you, Erica, so much for your input today and talking about, finances and planning. Planning is the main thing I got from you is, when you give a client to do something and they don't do it, that tells you how they plan. They not. And so you want the more responsible clients. And I feel you on that you give them some homework and they do the homework. Effort always wins out over anything. You put some effort to something, you're going to make something happen. Kyle, who's your perfect client, man, and how you helping them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for me, very similar to Erica, I think it's just finding folks who are motivated to really want to genuinely get into a house. I think a lot of us know right now the market obviously isn't ideal for buying, but if you can see the light in it, even with where rates are, what inventory looks like, I mean, you could make 1,000 excuses, but if you can find someone that is genuinely ready to buy, take the steps they need to take, and stay motivated throughout that process, I think is hard to find right now. But as far as helping them, I think the biggest thing is the kind of what I mentioned before, just getting them to a point where they're a fully verified buyer, just so that we don't have any issues, just because the market's already a little challenging. But just being there to help them out and just kind of guide them through that. I think that's the biggest thing, just staying motivated, right? Because it's very easy after a couple offers to get discouraged and get frustrated, but just kind of what Shana mentioned, bring them back down to reality and remember why they started it in the first place.
All right, and we're gonna wrap up. I'll start off, and Shanna, you can chime in. Today, if you get anything out of this, we want you to be financially conscious. That's the main thing. Everybody's gonna go to work. Everybody's gonna spend $1. Hopefully you save $1, but it's what you do with it over time that grows you, grows your family, grows your net worth. We all have blown money and not done the right things with it. We want you to be financially conscious. And when you get to a point where you're ready for growing your money, call Erica. And when you want to invest your money into property, call Team Ham. We do care. You can, I don't see if you can see our tagline here, real estate with a personal touch. That's real. That's not just a statement that we thought of and threw up there on the background. We care. And whether you get in your house or not, we're going to be there fighting tooth and nail to help you. And Shanna, give us your closing remarks on your takeaway for today.
Yes, like what Mark and Cal and Erica said, just being passionate about what we do, staying motivated, going after what you want and preparing yourself for it, being able to take in the advice and go for it. We're here to help, we're here to guide you along, but we all have to do our own homework. We all have to be able to take steps for ourselves. And just know that what's for you is for you. You will get that home, you will get your finance in order, you will get everything that you so desire to have, but you got to put in the work and you have to be patient and know that, your time is coming, your season is near, and you got this.
All right, Erica, you know how we do at H&P, where you give your 60-second spiel. We'll take 30 seconds and give us your name of your business, where you're located, all that good stuff, and close it out.
Yep. So again, Erica Moore, Five Rings Financial. I am physically located in Northern Virginia, just outside of DC, but I serve the entire United States. And so if you are even curious about how you might protect and grow money for your new home purchase or other financial needs, definitely reach out. I offer a complimentary consultation, and I will put my contact details in the comments.
All right, Kyle, close us out.
Yeah. So again, Kyle Hartford, President's Club Mortgage Banker with Rocket Mortgage. Anyone, first-time home buyers, if you've owned previously, even if you just have general questions, I'm licensed in 21 different states myself, but between myself and my other 19 team of bankers, I'm sure we can get you covered for all 50 states. So again, questions, if you're looking to buy, reach out anytime. My contact information will be in the chat as well.
All right, y'all, and we are Team Ham Group, Marc and Shanna Hamm. We're with eXp Realty. And whether you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or a seller, we're here to help you and represent you and fight for you tooth and nail so that you get every dollar you got coming to you. That's just what we do. And we do it for ourselves, so why wouldn't we do it for you? You're like our family when you come into the Team Ham Group. All right, y'all, we thank y'all for coming out today. This has been Erica Moore and Team Ham Group, and we thank Kyle and Rosemary for hanging out with us and talking about first-time home buyership, as well as investments and growing your money. Growing, I almost said the word fiduciary. I'm in a class, y'all, so I got all these terms floating through my head. Anyway, we want to just thank y'all for coming out. We'll see you again. I'm Marc Hamm, Shana Hamm, Kyle Hartford, and Erica Moore. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we thank y'all. Peace out.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. This is great.
See y'all soon. Roll the credits and play my theme music. That's right. I'm going to watch that Colorado game. All right.
Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yep, you too.
Bye.